Hi, I'm Trent Gustus of Keller Williams Realty. In this luxury home presentation, I'm going to take a look at the high-end market and feature this month's top sale.
To help make our stats a little bit more relevant to you, I'm going to divide up the city into different quadrants. We're going to do the inner city, the northwest section, the southwest, and what we're talking is west of Sarcee, because we would consider anything east of Sarcee to be inner city. The deep south, which would be Fish Creek, Chaparral, Mahogany, all of these south areas. And lastly, we'll do the northeast. At the end of the video, we'll go over the whole market so you can compare how your numbers match up with the overall. So we have 53 sold listings over 800,000 in the inner city in July, and where most of those buyers were at was about 528 a square foot, and the average was about 600 a square foot. So, and of course the top end was over 1,000 a square foot. The average sale prices here will be meaningless because of course everything is just an average between 800 and up. So let's look at the amount of sales that we had in June was 73, so quite a few more sales in June, and the average price per square foot was similar, but in the median where most of the buyers were is 541, and the average was actually lower. So let's compare that to last year. Last year we had 75 sold listings in the month of July, so actually that was higher. And the price per square foot 511 to 564. So I'm going to say the prices were kind of similar, mostly about the same. I guess we could say that the price per on the median was about 511, but I'm going to say that for the high-end group this is fairly similar. And the days on market, well, these are on the market many times, so oftentimes these are often meaningless as well. But when we look at the amount of supply, we have 299 active listings over 800,000. So there's a large amount of supply. I guess that means that there's 6 months supply there, and they're on average price a little bit higher at 617 a square foot to 672. So when we look at the inventory supply, we can see here that on the inner city, we've got an oversupply in most of the price categories. And when we go from 750 to 800,000, we've got 49 active listings and 15 sales in the previous month. But when you look at over 1.5 million, 15 sales in the month and 135 available. So if your property hasn't sold, this could be the reason why. Just there's an oversupply in just about every category here. So selling is a little bit more difficult in this market. So our top sale in July was this home in Briar Hill, priced at 3.99 million or 4 million, and actually sold for 3.5 in 169 days. Now I'm going to look at some of the interior photos. Truly a nice property, and it is a very high-end home for the area. We don't have that many sales pitching in that group. So 169 days was on for a fair length of time. Now when we look at, it was actually a full 4,380 square feet, and quite a nice property. And congratulations on that success. It's also a walkout basement. Looks like it has a view of the city. So now we'll move on to the northwest section. Now looking at the northwest, we had just 14 sales in July, and the average price per square, these were over 800,000. The average price per square foot was around 406, and the median where most of the buyers were at was about 396. These homes were all about 2,500 square feet on average. No sense looking at the average sale prices because it's skewed as of the fact that we're just doing 800,000 and up. Now in June, 23 sales, so a few more sales in June, and the price per square foot was a little bit lower, as you can see. Now when we look at how we compare it to last year, we have 10 sales in July of last year as opposed to 14, so a few more sales, and our prices per square foot were substantially less. So this is definitely a better market for the Northwest for the higher end group. Now when we look at the inventory supply, 85 active listings available and 14 sold, and you can see here that the median where most buyers are buying, there's some good properties and available at reasonable prices per square foot. Also the prices aren't too unreasonable either. But when we look at the inventory supply, you're going to see here that there's not a lot of activity in that higher end group. And what we look at in the Northwest, the higher end group would be, let's say this is where all the activity is. It's just, we looked at the $800,000 group. So this is looking just a little bit below that. But as you can see, there's about double the amount of homes available. And then as we go to the 800 to 850 group, we've got a lot more inventory and a few sales. This is the only tight race we had, a couple here. But for the most part, I mean, the homes that we've got that are over 1.5 million, 7 available and no sales. So, the higher end market is a little bit more difficult than the inner city for the high end sales. So in Lynx Ridge, we got this beautiful bungalow sold for 1.39 million in 78 days. It was 2,300 square feet on the main floor. And just look at this great property, built in 2005. One bedroom on the main floor, 2 bedrooms downstairs, huge lot, beautiful property. Now we're going to move to the southwest section. We're talking west of Sarcee, Aspen, these areas, Signal Hill, and so forth. Now looking at our southwest, 33 sold listings over 800,000, priced at 411 to 425 a square foot. Now when we look at what happened in June, 43 sales. So there's 10 more sales, so it was a little bit better in June, and the prices were about the same. I'm going to say that the median price was a little bit lower, but the average sale price was a little bit higher per square foot. When we look at how we did compared to last year, compared to 2 months, about the same, 29 sales and 33 sales for July, but June was definitely a better month. Prices last year were less, quite a bit less, 359 a square foot up to 368 a square foot in that area. Now when we look at the amount of inventory, 163 active listings over 800,000, all priced at 448 to 499 a square foot, so the higher priced, and the square footage about the same, really. Now we look at overall on the inventory, we can see that not a lot of activity on this higher end group. There's no close races as far as in different price groups. When I go past $1 million, I've got it set up here that it's each 100,000, and we've got the only close race we got is 1.2 to 1.3 million with 4 sales, and we got 7 available. But when we get back here, I guess there's another one here, but we got 8 sales and 4 available for the 800 to 850 group. So I guess that's the best. And of course, above 1.5 million, there was no sales and 16 available. So our top sale for the Southwest is this home in Springbank Hill. 2-story home, 4,386 square feet, built in 2006. As you can see, beautifully finished. A lot of customization. Sold in 30 days. 3 bedrooms, total of 5 bedrooms. Got a huge lot. Beautiful property. And now we'll move to the Deep South. Evergreen, Silverado, Cranston, Mackenzie-town, all these south areas. Now in Deep South, we had 19 sold listings in the month of July, all priced at about $396 a square foot to $400 a square foot. Now when we look at what sold in June, it was actually fairly close, 23 sold listings in June, a little bit more. The pricing a little bit lower on the median but higher on the average. Now we look at July sales of last year, 13 sold listings, so definitely more sales, and the pricing also up per square foot quite a bit from last year. Although we've got actually that's totally incorrect. We got 422. The prices were actually up there a little bit better per square foot than they were actually this year. So that's kind of an interesting surprise for that area. Now we look at the inventory. August inventory is 96 active listings above 800,000, and we've got 19 sold for the last month. Now these are priced on the average about $419 a square foot, which is reasonable, where the buyers are expecting. So that's not too far out of line, but definitely lots available. And when we look at just where that inventory is placed, and we look at the supply and demand feature, we actually had a close race here. 1.1 to 1 million to 1.1. We had 3 sales and we have 3 active listings. But for the most part, we have pretty high supply factor here. We got 10 sales above 1.5 million, which is really good. But we got 53 available out there that are still trying to sell. So that's a pretty good snapshot of what's happening in that residential area for the higher end. Okay, so our top sale for the Deep South was actually Woodbine, and fantastic home. We got about 5,000 square feet of space, 4792, and look at the location. Wow, we got an aerial shot there, backing onto the backing onto the park. Built in 1987, obviously been updated. Fantastic location, great house. And next we'll look at the northeast section of the city. Now in the northeast we'll look at things entirely differently because we don't have enough sales per month even over 600,000 to really create the same kind of report we did for the other areas. So on the over $600,000 group in that area, sold to date from the start of this year until now, 13 sold listings, all between $235 and $255 a square foot. Okay, now when we look at how that compares to last year, we had 10, so that's not too bad. But we had an average of $520 a square foot, so we had a pretty high sale here that just happened, and this was not an acreage property. This was actually a residential home, so that's pretty good for last year because we pulled all out the land out of all of these pictures, so that was a pretty good sale. Now we look at currently what we have available: 14 active listings over 600,000, price between $293 and $350 a square foot. So a little bit higher than where the buyers have been looking. They haven't been looking at that high on the average, but this is representative of what's currently available now. And as you can imagine, we've had 13 sales this year, not last month. So when you look at that, you know that we've got a fair amount of supply for the area up there. I'm going to look at the graph and show you just what is happening for sales. You know, we don't have a lot. We don't have a lot of activity on that higher end group. So our top sale for the single family home category is in Coral Springs, selling for $835, 2,400 square feet, and it's backing onto the lake. Built in 1998. Quite a nice home, not substantially updated. You can see that it has the original vanities and so forth from 1998. But it is a walkout, and what a great location. Looks like it was really a well-built home.
Back when I started selling real estate, over 90% of the homes I sold were expired listings or homes that other agents couldn't sell. During that time, I learned from my clients the many frustrations that they had selling their homes.
We had our house on the market last year for about 6 months, right, Bruce?
Correct.
And it's a high-end house. It's across the street from the park. It was listed at $1,299,000, and we just really didn't get any offers or any traction on the house, and we couldn't figure out why. Our realtor was really good, really nice guy, but we were asking him for more of a marketing plan for the house, and it just didn't seem to come. So in August, we took the house off the market, and we decided to relist the house in January, yeah. And at that point in time, I remember seeing a brochure that Trent had done up, and that brochure from his company explained how he used video from a marketing perspective and all these other marketing techniques to actually move your house on the market. And we were really impressed with it, so we gave him a call, and Trent came in. And after we had a short conversation with him, we interviewed 3 other realtors, by the way, and none of them had the marketing strategy that Trent had. So Bruce and I decided, okay, let's take a chance with Trent for 90 days, see what happens. We listed it for the same amount of money, $1,299,000, and luckily within 36 hours, amazing actually, our house sold at $1,250,000, and we were really happy. And when we were interviewing the buyers, they actually shared with us that they saw our house on the market last year, and they looked at the photographs that were on the MLS, but it didn't really tweak their interest, so they just passed it by. They didn't come up to see the house, and they don't live far away. They're only a few blocks away, but nevertheless, they turned it down. And then when they saw Trent's video, they were really excited, and they said, we got to have a look at this house. And they came up, and they were the ones who made the offer and bought the house. So we're really happy for both Claudia and her husband, and for us to have moved this house so quickly. So thank you, Trent. Job well done, very professional.
We have a high-end home, and it was a challenge to sell. It had been on the market for 2 years. The virtual pictures, and it was a popular realtor that was working with us before. But when we received this invitation from Keller and Williams through Trent Gustus' team, it intrigued us to put it on the market one more time. And it was fascinating because we thought, what a novel way of marketing a home. Trent came in and they did a very detailed job of videoing the home and inside, outside, and with the detail that was featured, because we put so many extras into this home, it is almost impossible to get your money back out of a high-end home. And once listed at over $1.65 million, this is a lot of money. But in order to do this, they have to understand what it is that they're getting that is so special about it. So his skill work in making this visual to the watcher was an answer to what we needed to sell this house. Then I guess the other part which was very pleasing was how we sent these ongoing video updates of our competition out there as far as the comparative market analysis with his voiceovers to show us what we are looking at and how we do compare. And this caused my wife and I to think and ponder as to maybe we should lower our price a bit more to even be on the cutting edge of the market. And so we made the analysis based on his thorough analysis of what's out there on a regular basis. We got these video update reviews, and this was good as well. So all in all, it was an enjoyable experience as we went on this journey to success. And the video and the way he did it with the voiceovers and the pictures that we saw as far as the pricings of different unique things that we added in helped sell the house like nothing else, because the ones who did buy the house spent but less than an hour in this house and were prepared to deal at 7:30 that evening, so well done.
This is just 2 examples, but in 13 years of marketing homes, I've got hundreds of examples of turnaround situations. High and low-end homes, fixer-uppers, show homes. I've marketed a home just like yours. So call me today for a low-pressure interview to discuss the sale of your home.